come back here. My name is Fred. I'm with the Education and Conservation Department here at SeaWorld. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me for about the next hour and a half. Most people, when they hear Fred's doing the tour, run the other way or ask for a different tour. So you guys must not got the word. We're going to start out here. We're going to end up at the backside of Shamu Stadium over by the arcade and Shamu's Happy Harbor. We're going to see a few animals here. We're going to get on our air-conditioned bus. By air-conditioned, I mean it has no windows in it. He's going to zoom around the park at about 4 to 5 miles an hour. We're going to go over to, move over this way a little bit and let the young lady through. There are some people that work around here. I just come out here to have fun. We're going to go over behind Shark Encounter in the eel room where you're going to get to pet a shark. It's going to be a baby white spotted bamboo shark, only about a day long. They are babies. We're going to get back on our bus and we're going to go over to behind the wild Arctic. Hopefully see a polar bear, no guarantee. Polar bears don't always do what we ask them to do. We ask them to do, and nobody can go in there and grab them by the ear and say, come on, let's go. And then they're going to do something I don't really like, but since they're doing Antarctica over there and our penguins are all in the back, just a little crowded in the back, they're going to bring a penguin over to us. We're watching the polar bear. Make a big deal around here that the penguins are at the South Pole and the polar bears are at the North Pole. So here we've got them on each side of the glass from each other. So that's sort of our itinerary of where we're going to go. We're going to learn a little bit about our animal rescue and how we take care of our animals here at SeaWorld. It's important that we stay together because we are in a working area. There could be vehicular traffic back here. People feeding the animals, doing whatever they do back here. We do need to stay together. If you can't hear me, it's important to hear me. If you can't hear me, get my attention, hit me on the back of the head or something. If I walk backwards too much, I'll fall down and then somebody will have to pick me up. Just sort of walk around like I'm in through this area. The area over here on the left is our quarantine area. The animals coming in will be over there first. Like the sea turtles will probably get a freshwater dip to kill any saltwater bacteria that they have on their shells or whatever. We want to make sure that we don't bring anything into the park that our other animals can be contaminated with. SeaWorld has been rescuing animals since 1975. We've rescued over 18,000 animals, and that's not only this park, but our other 3 parks. At our 3 parks here in Orlando, we have over 41,000 animals. About 180 of those are on the endangered or threatened species list. Anybody know what endangered or threatened means?
Well, like they're like dying out now.
Right, they're going away. They may be extinct shortly or getting close to getting into that category. In our 10 parks around the country, we have over 60,000 animals. Over 200 of those are on the threatened or endangered species list. So we do have a very large collection of animals. We do have 2 animal care departments. One is the ones that you see in the show. They deal with the same animals day after day. The other animal care, like some of them we may see today here in the back or over Dolphin Cove, they move around from one exhibit to the other from time to time, so they're always dealing with different animals. But the animal care people that are here are dedicated to the animals. Some of them would even really like to not let you in the park if you get interfering with their animals. But it's important we let you in the park because you pay for their care. That's what your tickets do. And 10% of your tour price here, tour tickets, actually go to the SeaWorld, I'm on with my tape straight now, SeaWorld Busch Gardens Conservation Fund that goes to support animal projects around the world. One of the latest ones we had, it's been a while now, was the tsunami over in Japan where they had to come up with new habitats for a lot of the animals because their habitats were wiped out due to the tsunamis. So we're always supporting other animal projects all around the world, oil spills, research, things of that nature. Does anybody have any questions? Put them on there. The ones that we have here, we're taking one of the animals out. They have a sling, we've got cutouts for the pectoral flippers. The animals are trained to swim into these so they can pick them up and move them. Around the exhibit here, back in the dispensary or different locations. They would fill this tank about 2/3 full of water. Because they are marine mammals, they can breathe out of water. Well, they do breathe out of water. They can't breathe out of water any better than we can. And animal care will go along with them. They will typically be loaded onto a 747 up in first class. and they will be moved to their other location very quickly. Anybody have any questions? You can see that it has a pad at the bottom so that they can rest the animal on it, swing, picking the animal up, put them into the ambulance. Some diving gear there. Typically they have to get in the water to get to the animal. But they also have equipment in there for monitoring pulse rate, breathing rate, whatever, just like if you were in an ambulance. The same thing would apply here. This is our primary rescue boat here, Dundee. We not only use this boat, but other boats and jet skis, because sometimes it takes a lot of effort to catch the animals. It's swim almost 800 miles up rivers and streams into a large freshwater lake. And it took several jet skis and boats to go out and corral the animal and bring it in. Anybody see any difference in this motorboat than most motorboats you're familiar with?
Engine.
Look for the motor. Motor's up in the middle. Ever been out snorkeling or diving or skiing and tried to get around the boat at the back of the motor? Excuse me, the motor at the back of the boat? It's a little hard to get around. Here they can just back the boat right up to the animal, pull it right in. One of the gentlemen on one of my earlier tours this morning said, well, how do they get this tight plane on the water so they can go fast? The boat doesn't go fast. It's there strictly for the rescue of jet skis and the other boats that are fast going climbing. We'll talk about the turtles there in a minute. A lot of the animals we rescue are entangled. Things that are left in the water or put out in the water. Anybody know what this is? It's a cage. What kind of cage? It's a crab trap. The grabbers will put this down on the bottom with some type of raunchy bait in it to attract the crabs. They'll tie a rope to it, put a float on it so they can come back. They'll put lots of them out and then come back and check where they're at. You want to feel this rope? It's very scratchy. As the tide goes up and down, if the rope's too long, it floats out into the water, the animals come over and play with it. And as they try to swim off, if it gets wrapped around their flipper or their tail paddle or whatever, it just slides back and forth. It's like a round hacksaw blade. It's very scratchy. We've had manatees they found, rescued, that had their front flippers cut off. We have a manatee up in the Manatee that we'll see in a minute. Wrapped up in monofilament or fishing line and pulled up tight enough to actually cut off the circulation like a tourniquet that had to be amputated. Everybody, when they think about the manatees and rescues, they think about boat propellers hitting. Manatees have very solid bones. They don't have marrow in the middle like we have. They're very heavy. When the boat hits it, the bone just shatters, puncturing their interior organs and so on. It's sort of like me dropping the glass on the concrete here. It just shatters and goes everywhere. This is the manatee skull. You can see that they just have molars in their mouth. They don't have any sharp teeth. They just grind their food up. Just like we do with the teeth in the back. They go along the bottom grazing. As their teeth wear down, they don't go to the dentist like we do. Get caps and crowns. They have more teeth forming in the back, sliding up to take the place of the ones in the front. So you're always getting new teeth. They have a very good dental system. One reason we can't tell how old manatees are is typically the same animal they put a small molar that it had without the growth rate. The manatee, you don't know which set of teeth they're on. This door works very badly because they wanted to make this look very authentic, so they put sand in here, and now the sand is in the roller. Let's see if I can get this side open. A lot of sea turtles are caught by fishermen. They develop what they call a circle hook. You can see the point on it curves back towards the stem, but the sea turtle can't close their mouth on it. The fisherman can still catch the fish. So this is one of the things they encourage fishermen to use this type of hook to keep from catching sea turtles. Everybody know what this is besides a piece of PVC pipe? It's called a bite block. When I try to give my cats pills at home, I usually try first in their food, seem to eat around the pill and leave it in the bottom of the dish. Then I have to sort of stuff it down the throat with my finger and their sharp teeth and get it to fit. This will slide right in the animal's mouth, put the pill in here, put the syringe in here, inject whatever they want to without being bit. I need one of these for my cats. We have a first aid kit just like you would have if you were going camping. They would have when they go out to rescue the animals. How many sea turtles we rescued this year and how many have we released? This 5 is not necessarily part of this 20. Sea turtles stay here for quite a while. Back in the winter of 2010, we rescued over 600 sea turtles. Due to the cold weather that we were having, they were just floating around the cars in the cold water. There were wall-to-wall sea turtles here. People were coming in early to help cut up fish. They actually feed the sea turtles until the water warmed up enough so they could put them back out in the water. The ponds that we have running here, mainly Walrus head. The front pond here, that lady lost an eye. She got hit by a boat and had to be surgically removed. Grandma in the back pool back there is a loggerhead. She was caught by fishermen, dropped on the deck, and cracked her shell. And also her lower jaw is missing, so she's usually hand-fed. We move on down here to this next pond. Look at these loggerheads. Wrapped up in monofilament twine. You can see there white scar tissue where the flipper was removed.
Where the flipper's been removed because of damage.
This is what we call the med pool. It's got a false bottom in it where they can raise it up. Get the animals up out of the water to work on them. A lot of the manatees we rescue are due to cold stress. They look like they're big fat animals like me, but they don't have a thick layer of blubber. It's very thin. Anything below about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, they get hypothermia, frostbite like we would have. SeaWorld is pretty much self-contained. Over on your right-hand side here is our vehicle maintenance facility. We have a lot of buses, dog carts, other vehicles that we have here. Over on the left-hand side is our commissary where all the food comes in at. All of the fish is fresh frozen. We feed out about 35,000 pounds a week. That's 7,000 pounds a day. Excuse me, 5,000 pounds a day. Somebody from animal care actually comes in here about 3 o'clock in the morning to start defrosting that fish and get frostbit fingers. Each of the animals pretty much has a bucket with their name on it, especially the dolphins, so they know how much they're feeding them. You might ask, well, how do you let the people feed the dolphins over along the wall when they're doing the feeding sessions? The fish that they're feeding them is a small capelin. It's a high water, low calorie fish, or like they give you carrots or lettuce to chew on. Marine mammals do not drink the salt water, just like we don't drink the salt water. They get their fresh water from the food they eat. So really over along the wall when you're feeding them, you're really helping to hydrate them and give them a drink of water. This is just passing on the right hand side here where we just were. Our bird habitats here. Coming up on the right hand side, the building with the green quilt there is our dispensary. The neat thing about it, all the equipment in there is pretty much on wheels. It's easier to take the equipment out to the animals in most cases than it is to bring the animals to the equipment, especially our 12,000 pound killer whale, or some of our 800 or 900 pounds of the dolphins. smallest animal that's been worked on there in there is a tree frog. Not sure what you do for a tree frog, but then the largest animal was either a polar bear or a manatee. I'm not exactly sure which was the largest. Coming up on the left-hand side through the trees there, you may see some of the slides towering up over to Florida, our sister water park, where we have the Commerson dolphins. There are 4 boys over there. They're all fully grown. In a while, they're found off the southern tip of South America. They're swimming in very cold water. They only weigh about 100 to 120 pounds. They only get up to about 4.5 to 5 feet long. One of the smaller dolphins in the dolphin family. Of course, Shamu is the biggest dolphin in the dolphin family. Now look up here on the left, if you look close, you may see one of the alligators drainage ditches along the side here. Sometimes they're outside themselves and we outside. We actually saw one swimming in the water as we drove by on Sunday when we were going back there. The right-hand side was Patrick's journey to Atlantis. It's a good day to ride it. You're guaranteed to get wet. And you're probably going to get wet here today anyway. So today would be a good day to ride that ride. Good time to ride it. A little farther up here where we park behind the shark encounter, go into the eel room. You get your best look at Kraken here in the back. This is the best place to see all the ups and downs and loops that you do on the ride. Unfortunately, I can't tell you how the ride is. It's like I can't tell you how man it is because I've got quite tall enough to get to ride it. As soon as I get tall enough, I plan to try it out. My kids and my grandkids tell me it's great. Park your bus up here. Feel free to leave anything on the bus that you would like to leave on it. The bus driver will be staying and waiting on us. He will be staying with the bus. But do remember to bring your camera and your kids. He does not babysit with kids. Unfortunately. He says he doesn't get paid enough. Head over the road up here as we go by. That's to catch stuff and fall out of the people's pockets. Put one of the loops and turns.
Oh, it's a shark room. There's sharks in here.
Yeah, there's sharks in here.
The greenhouse that you see over on the left-hand side there is where a lot of the plants that you see in the park are grown. Our horticulturists here do a great job of keeping the plant up, keeping the park up with the plants and stuff that they put out and maintain. Just past there, it's the parking lot where I'm parked. You see a black Ford Explorer sitting out there under a tree. That's my car. I usually park over near the wash rack, put a sign on it that says, "Please wash me," but nobody ever washes it for me. Right behind the wash rack there is our cetacean rescue facility that I was telling you about, where we have the baby dolphin right now. Over on the right-hand side, we're just passing the stables where they did have the Clydesdales, and we had them here. SeaWorld tries to tries to recycle everything that they can recycle. We recycle all the wood pallets. Hopefully you've seen it used our aluminum and plastic recycle bins throughout the park. Most of the offices have places where the paper that is used is recycled. Over on the left-hand side here is our recycle facility where the stuff is processed and packed up for shipment off to be recycled. The gate just past the recycle facility here is where I come in every morning on the 3 days typically that I work. Just across the street there and up that other driveway there is Discovery Cove, where you can actually get in the water and swim with the dolphins. You get to get in with the stingrays, you get to snorkel with the fish. Then we do have a rainforest area that they just opened up over there where you get to do other exciting things. Also off to your left that we're just passing is our theming area where a lot of the displays and stuff are put together. As you see throughout the park, they're very busy at Christmas time. If you haven't been here at Christmas, I really recommend that you come back at Christmas because they really deck the place out. Just off to your left here, white building in the back there is Avian Research. That's where we used to go and pet the penguin. This facility was regionally put in here to house the penguins while they were building Penguin Encounter. Now it's where the penguins are at while they're building Antarctica. Just off to your right up here in a short distance, we're passing a gate. That's the gate where the tour will end. It's just outside of Shamu Stadium. The filtration system that you see over on your left side here is part of the filtration system for Shamu Stadium. There's 7.5 million gallons of man-made salt water in that system. And it gets filled in about every 3.5 hours. It's just past the arcade. Shamu's have the harbors over to the right and rides and activities for the smaller kids. If they really want to get wet, there is a place in there where they can go and wade in the water. And there's buckets going around in a circle up there that dump the water down on top of their heads. So they can get really wet in there without having to go stand in Shamu. Slides on over to Shamu Stadium. We'll get up here in a minute when we park the bus at behind the bar already. Please feel free to leave anything on the bus that you would like to leave. The bus driver will be waiting on us. Remember to bring your kids and the camera with you and put in the parking bus first. Females are typically about half the size of the males. So they don't get quite this big.
Stand up there. 3 feet.
Okay, move on in. Let's see if we can see a polar bear. It's nice and cool in here.
No polar bears.
Do we have a bear over there?
No. Mom,
This is a polar bear's rear paw. This is a polar bear's front paw. You want to put your foot on there and compare your foot size? They have basically built-in snowshoes for walking up on top of the snow. If you go through our exhibit, our wheel is our biggest walrus, our male walrus. He's about 3,000 pounds. And he's about 30 years old. This caboodle is our female. She's only about 8 years old. She weighs about 1,200 pounds. She's the only young lady I know that's looking to gain another 1,000 pounds or so. Any of you young ladies looking to gain 1,000 pounds? No? Most young ladies I know are looking to lose weight, no matter how slim and trim they are. Walrus has several uses for this test. Anybody know what they are? They like to eat clams. The clams are typically in the sand on the bottom, so they stir the bottom up to find the clams. A walrus can eat 3,000 to 4,000 clams in a sitting. They impress the girls with these. They tell me the girls like the walrus and the boys with the larger tusk. Don't know about that, but. And if you've ever seen somebody in the movies or on television that had fallen through the ice trying to get back out and there's nothing to grab a hold of, the walrus just takes this, sticks it in the ice, pulls himself so far up, sticks it out a little farther. We use it like a mountain climber uses the spikes to climb up the side of the hill. Walruses are collected for these because they are ivory. Needless to say, this is not a real one because they wouldn't trust me with ivory. Any one of you might hit me over the head with it and decide you want to take it home with you. But they are collected for their ivory and their tusks, just like elephants are. It was interesting to me, I couldn't figure out how they came up with Caboodle as a name for a walrus. But then they told me what her mother's name was. Anybody tell me what her mother's name was, knowing that her name was Caboodle? Kit. All right, Kit and Caboodle. All penguins, I'm going to get my right tape on my drive here. All penguins are below the equator. They don't all live in the severe conditions like you saw in March of the Penguins. Any of you seen March of the Penguins? Yep. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. The emperor penguin is the largest penguin. The largest one that we have here in our exhibit, when it opens back up, will probably be the king penguin. It's about a foot shorter. The unique thing about those two penguins is that they only lay one egg, and they carry it between their legs, both the male and the female. The king penguins will transfer it back and forth more than the emperor penguins because of the severe conditions, they only get one shot at it. If they mess it up, they've lost the egg. The other penguins either burrow or build their nests on rocks. I like it in the exhibit when it's nesting season, they bring in little trays of rocks. The penguins come over and pick up one rock at a time to build their nest. Both the male and the female sit on the nest to hatch the egg. They typically lay 2 eggs, but they typically only support the one that hatches first. In our exhibit, they will scope the eggs to make sure which ones are fertile. If they aren't doing a good job, like some parents are not good parents, they will put a placebo egg like this in there, and they will take the egg in the back if it's fertile and put it in the incubator, and they will hatch it back there. They have what they call a brooder. It's like a little small igloo thing that people carry their lunch back and forth in. One of our people back there, shall we say, invented, put a heater in it and a thermostat. So you see the people going home at night, you think they're carrying their lunch home or the lunchbox home. They're really taking a penguin home with them because they take 24-hour-a-day care. So a lot of the penguins here consider the apiculturists to be their parents. When the penguins are first born, they have a very thick layer of down on them and they grow very rapidly. And they sometimes look bigger than their parents because they have that thick layer of down feathers on them. And they're not waterproof when they're first born. So here at SeaWorld, once the parents have got to a certain point with them, they will move them in the back. And then when they move them back out to be with the other penguins, they will put them in sort of like a gated thing like my son had for my granddaughters. It folds up, they don't see any use playing around the outside edge here. Let me see who's out here. It's Mr. Jim.
Come here. My kids, Jack. Don't run. Over.
Now this is not our penguin, this is Jim. Jim and I haven't wound up together in a long time.
I know.
Also didn't tell you why he wears this apron. I was just getting to that when he knocked on the door. Penguins are prolific poopers. They go very frequently and they can shoot at about 4 feet. So if you want to stay away from the business end of a penguin. And Jim is not very trusting. He puts that apron on.
I'm happy to see my friend Fred doing this tour, and the fact is whenever Fred and I used to do this tour back in the
good old days.
Back in the good old days.
When you were still in diapers.
We have a penguin named Fred, and I would always bring out Fred the penguin for Fred the tour.
And she's the cutest young lady you ever saw.
She is. Wait, hold on. Don't get this cute young lady all jealous that you're saying that Fred's a cute young lady. Look, ironically enough, while the penguin was a girl penguin, I have Mario, who's a girl penguin as well. So we're gonna let her come on out. She's been anxiously waiting to meet you guys. There she is. Good girl. Good girl.
She's a Magellanica penguin.
She's like, yay, I'm out of that box. Finally. Oh, she's gonna itch maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, my friends, I'm gonna get Mario. I almost called you Fred. Mario on my lap.
I'm not gonna sit in your lap, Jim.
No, get me. Yes, I know. You're so happy to see me. And when I tell you okay, you can come on over and 2 fingers on her middle of her back, down to her tail. Just because Mario isn't as familiar with you all as she is with me, just try to avoid touching around this part of her body for me. When you come up, you're going to stand right with them with their gear. They did not find exactly what they were looking for. But this bird is named after Ferdinand Magellan, who discovered them a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and they were named in honor of him. I know. Ooh, you're itchy. Good. You're a good scratcher too, though.
We need to wrap up, Jim.
Wrap up. Okay, we're gonna take Mario and head on back home. We got some good pictures of her. Remember, watch the Today Show later on this week, and you'll see. Say bye, Mario. Bye. And check them out on the. I think they may be on the last part of the Today Show with Kathy Lee and Hoda.
How long can a penguin live?
Penguins typically live somewhere around 18 or so years, okay? We've got some up into their 30s. Zoological locations where they have lots of good care, only restaurant quality food. They don't get the stuff that's left over like my cats do. They tend to live longer. Also, another advantage in zoological locations like this, they learn a lot about the animals that they couldn't learn about them out in the wild. Especially in these very cold conditions that they'd be living in where some of these animals are. Anybody else have any questions? One of the most popular questions around here is how many penguins can a polar bear eat? And everybody knows the answer to that one. Remember what I told you. Anybody tell me? Anybody want to guess? Anybody listen to me? Where did I say the penguins live? South. Where do the polar bears live? North.
How many do they eat?
They don't ever get together. I told you when we started out that I didn't like it because there we had the penguins on one side and the polar bear on the other side. Okay, let me disembark first and then we'll get on. Thank you.
Take everything with you.
Yeah, take everything with you. If not, he'll give you his eBay account. Pick it up there. They're very good here. If we lose anything, they're very good at turning it over and yes, sir.